Welcome back to the filing cabinet. Okay, you guys, one of my the funnest things about owning a business and having a YouTube channel is I be in my bed. I know that I have anchored my self to my bed for like sleep, but I get so much energy on days like this where I just have the sun blowing in. Like, it just feels good to be in here. I feel comfortable in between when I record these videos. I just be laying back. I be chilling. Yeah, so completely sidetracked. Anyway, if you love that I start my videos like that and you're like, what are we even talking about right here? Let's get to it. But first and foremost, subscribe so that you know every time I drop a new video, which is pretty often, I feel like. Make sure that you're sharing my channel with people who need to see it, and make sure you're liking and commenting, and tell me what resonates with you in each video and what you're like, I don't know if I feel that. If you're like, oh, I hate you so much, I won't be answering your comment. And then take feedback. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about, again, I love coming for my small businesses of employees between 10 and 500 employees. Okay. We're going to be talking about the top 3 reasons that there's tension in your teams. Because there's a lot of people right now out there who are like, I don't want to go to work, because you can cut this tension probably with a very sharp steak knife. Okay. And you're like, I don't understand why there's so much tension. Work is becoming really kind of hostile. You don't want to be there. You're getting the Sunday scaries. Your heart is dropping into your butthole every single day of the week. And you're like, I just don't want to be here. And if you are a leader on these teams, let's talk about why there's tension on your teams, where this tension is coming from, the 3 reasons why the tension exists and what it's rooted in, and how you can fix it. Okay? Because inherently you love your job. This is something that you want to do. You enjoy being here, but you don't want it to feel like you can't even say anything around anybody because you're like, why is nobody getting along with me? Okay? So let's talk about how to release this tension. Let's talk about how it came to you in the first place and how you can release it so that it doesn't feel so big. Okay, so reason number 1, you are not relatable as a leader. Okay? Your people know nothing about you. They have nothing to latch onto. You log in, you boss people around, and you log out. And I get it. You might not actually want to be there. You started your position, you started your job for something bigger than yourself, but you're just not feeling it anymore. So you keep such strong held boundaries that you can't relate to your people. And I'm sorry, the future of leadership demands that people be able to see you. And you have to kind of be in a place of vulnerability to be like, I understand you and I get you. It is not enough to just boss people around anymore and expect them to listen to you. People want to know that you understand them, that you have been where they have been. Okay. And if you're not relatable and nobody knows anything about you, people are going to be like, why should I trust you? Their full body is going to be like, we can't trust that person. Okay. And a root cause for why you're not relatable as a leader is because you might have this limiting belief that opening up to your team members is unprofessional or that it's going to cost you your position. I remember like right before I quit my corporate job in January of 2024, my manager was telling us at the time, he was like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have ADHD. And we were all like, oh no, we actually didn't know that. That explained a lot of stuff. That explained a lot of ish. Okay. And we were like, okay, we get it now. And it's like, he was a great guy. He always put our needs, first, as opposed to like the needs of a $30 billion company. But it helped to know, like, hey, listen, Mans not only was in like a million meetings every day, but he also had ADHD. So that was probably absolute hell for him. Okay. And it helped to know that so that we could all, again, just be a team and be like, boss, are you good? Like, do you need something today? Like, because is your manager taking care of you, boss? Like, are you good? And it just helps build that rapport. But when you got so much stuff, when you're just like, nobody can know me and your employees aren't your friends. Okay, they don't have to be your friends, but it's okay for them to know you a little bit so that there's just, you should enjoy being at work. And it's halfway unenjoyable because you're not talking to anybody. You're just logging in, telling people what to do, and leaving. Be there. Okay. Okay. Number two, you don't listen or make adjustments after you get feedback. Your team is screaming into a void. They fully believe that anytime employee surveys come out that they're useless. And honestly, they probably are. Because if nothing is changing and you aren't advocating for them, what was the point of even asking their opinion? Why did you come here and ask me what I was thinking if you weren't actually going to listen? Okay. I can't tell you, nothing grinds an employee's gear more than you asking them their opinion, you doing nothing about it, and then the company talking about how well they're doing and how happy everyone is. Because on the employee ranks, they're looking at each other in those streets like, where did they get these results from? Because we just had a talk over this half-ass pizza party that you threw for us, and ain't nobody happy here. Stop throwing people pizza parties and stuff. They don't want that. That's not making any kind of adjustment. That's not actually listening. And if you're somebody who has the ear of major leadership inside of a company, you need to be telling them that. You need to have the gumption to be like, listen, y'all are talking about all this stuff, but I'm telling you, these people aren't really happy here. Okay. But if you on your own team, you're not making adjustments and you're not listening to anybody after they provide feedback, the root cause of that is you have an unconsciously built habit of freezing when you believe conflict is present. If you think something is about to go down, you're probably like, oh, I can't do anything about it. Oh, oh. And that could be a fight, flight, freeze, fawn response from your own traumas. But if you're like, oh no, conflict, I can't do anything about that. If you have to somehow be the middleman or the middle woman in conflict, no, can't do it. Okay. But you're not making anything better by not doing anything about it. You were put in that position of leadership because people entrusted you to be able to get stuff done, but you're not actually getting anything done because you're freezing anytime the tough stuff needs to come up. Okay. And I get it, it's hard. That's why I never wanted to be a manager. People are like, oh, you could go so high. And I'm like, I don't want to manage people. Not in an organization like this. Not in an organization like this. Absolutely not. There's over 100,000 people that worked for the last company that I worked for. I was just another number. I didn't feel like my voice actually mattered. And there was nothing that the company really could have done about that. When you get to a company size that big, sometimes it really doesn't matter. But if you've got 50 to 100 employees, there's so much that you can do to make your people feel seen. And one of those things is actually just listening. Don't just faff off a paper because HR told you to ask for feedback. Listen to them. Sit down. Don't make them feel so afraid to tell you what the problem is. Okay? There's always an answer. My coach tells me all the time that when an answer simply exists if you pose a question. So you wouldn't have a question if an answer wasn't already there. So if you're struggling, like, what do? I don't know how to help these employees actually get feedback. There's an answer for that. And you can find that inside of my corporate offers on the links on my website because this is what I do at the corporate level. But get to know your people. Stop just being like, oh, yeah, here's a survey. And then you ever, you ever seen that reel or that video of that guy who hands the other guy the plate and then he takes the plate and yeets it down the hallway? Stop asking people for their opinion and just throwing it like it doesn't matter. Appreciate them. Do something with it. They're entrusting you with this information, and company leadership is abusing that trust. And then you wonder why turnover could be lower or why people aren't happy. They're telling you exactly what it is that they need to hear or what they need done, and you're not doing anything about it. Do something about it. Okay. So that's way number two. Way number three, you don't actually lead, you tolerate and you manage. You just pass stuff off that you don't want to do. You think a lot of the work is beneath you or below your pay grade, which we dealt with this a lot when I was in the military. A lot. And your team is building resentment because they want opportunities to learn, to grow, to advance, and no opportunity is ever being provided to them. Okay? The number one rule that I have for leadership is Do not do anything. You don't expect your employees to do anything that you have never done yourself or that you would not willingly do yourself. If you have never done it, or you wouldn't be like, yeah, I'll gladly do this, do not make them do that. They are not your slaves. Okay? They are here to learn under you. They're here to grow. They're here to understand. They're not here to push your paper because you're so overwhelmed with everything else that it is that you have going on. Okay. And a root cause for why you don't actually lead and you just manage and you tolerate, because we're going to get into the difference between leading and managing, right? Is because nobody ever led you. And you believe that this is just how it's supposed to be because this is how it's always been. And let me tell you something, nothing ruffles my feathers more than when people say, well, this is how it's always been. I don't give a raggedy dog's behind how something has always been. It cannot remain that way if we are to evolve as a species. You don't feel that something is right in your stomach and in your gut and the way that you're doing things, then change it. You have the power to change it. But to simply faff on and go on about, oh well, this is how it's always been, who are you helping? That's the other reason why you got tensions on your team, is because people are looking for change and you're just happy hanging about with the status quo. Or if you're not happy hanging about with the status quo, you're still not brave enough to do anything about it. And you said, well, this is the way it's always been. Okay, maybe people have always been managed, but now people are looking to be led. And there is a difference. Are you somebody who just comes and bosses people around and then leaves? Or are you someone who leads by example, that says, let me sit down with you and let me show you how this thing is done. Let me show you how I would do this thing. And I'm open to suggestions about how you would do it so we can streamline the process and make it easier for everybody involved. You see how that sounds so much better than whatever it is y'all are faffing on about these days? Listen to your people. Tension is not normal and you shouldn't want to tolerate it. You should want to abolish it. Okay? And the executive coaching that I do inside of corporations for my projects is like, if you want to become a not so average leader, you need a not so average executive coach, which is what I do inside of these programs. Because what happens right now is you have all of these limiting beliefs about how things should be, and you're not actually looking into the way that you want things to be or the way you want things to improve for yourself or for your team or for the company that you're a part of. And all of that has to happen at the unconscious level of your mind. And I include a lot of somatic practice into the actual strategy work it is that I do inside of small to medium sized businesses. And so if you're like, I'm sick of the tension, I'm sick of not knowing what I'm supposed to do next with my teams, I don't want work to feel so difficult anymore, I'm tired of getting the Sunday scaries, then make sure you head to the links on my channel and book a call with me to figure out how I can help you work through these issues that you're having on your team. Again, I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure that you subscribe, comment below, tell me which parts of it, which one, two, or three felt the most relatable to you, and any other questions I can continue to answer for you in the future. Ciao for now.